Okay, well, let's talk about Module 1 quiz. So let's review that. So I'm going to get out of this student view, which allows me to access some of the administrative features as an instructor on Blackboard. So give me a moment to get there. Okay. So there's a lot of information that you're probably looking at here, a lot of numbers and such, with the quiz questions as well. What I want you to focus on at this point is the average score. It's about 3 from the right there. And this column essentially identifies how many or what the percentage is of students who received the question that got it right. So in this case, the top level domain are coordinated by whatever that question was. Whoever received that question got it right. So it looks like everyone that received that question got it right. So that's how we should look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that we cover those questions that were under 70%, which 70% is successful, right? It's a C or above. So I want to cover those initially right now, and then anyone in particular that you might have, we can cover as well. But I'd like to first go over these because it may be one of those questions. Okay. All right, so let's go over this first one here. So the first one is the domain name system is used to purchase domain names. That is false. It is not a place to purchase domain names. The DNS, or domain name system, provides a converter. Let's consider it a converter that converts your domain name to an IP address, right? And that IP address is associated with a domain name, right? A website, perhaps, right? That's when we're using DNS. All right. The next one, the multiple choice. A language using a text-based syntax intended to extend the power of HTML by separating data from presentation is called, well, we have DHTML for dynamic HTML, XML, XHTML, and SGML. And the answer is XML, right? Extensible markup language. Okay. SGML is the framework, right, which started HTML and so on and going forward. So it's simply just a framework, a guideline. DHTML is dynamic HTML, and XHTML is essentially the XHTML and HTML being put together, right? So XML is the answer here. All right. Another multiple choice. Select the true statement from the list below. When a domain name ends in .com, it indicates that it is a computer company. That is not always true, right? So, yeah, it's possible that it's a computer company, but it's not always, right? It doesn't indicate that. It's not always a computer company. Okay. Let's see. A country code domain name can only be owned by someone who resides in that country. That is also false. You can purchase a domain name with a country code, okay? That's not of your own. Only non-profit organizations can purchase a .org domain name. That's not true either. Unfortunately, there's no regulation behind that like there is in some of the other top-level domains, like which ones you can't buy. Which ones can you not buy because you need to be a part of this type of group? Gov, EDU, MIL, right? So we have a series of these that really have some guidance behind there and some security behind there, right? And some rules that, nope, sorry, you have to be one of these entities. And so org is not one of them, unfortunately. They don't have that. However, that was really the purpose of that top-level domain. But there was nobody behind it backing it saying, yeah, well, I'm going to support that and not let any non-for-profit, right, be there. So it is none of the statements above are true. All right. Choose the true statement below. The content that displays in the browser is contained in the body section. All right. The content that displays in the browser is contained in the body section. All of the above are true. although this really should be down here, of course. The content that displays in the browser is contained in the head section. Information about the web page is contained in the body section. Yeah. So let's take a look and we'll work our way from bottom to top. Information about the web page is contained in the body section. Actually, that's not true. It's actually contained in the head section. So information about the web page, right? Not the content that the web page displays. Okay. So, and then the content that displays, right, is in the head section. No, these really are kind of reworded, right? So this one really belongs here, and this really belongs here. And so the true answer, the right answer, is the content that displays in the browser is contained in the body section. Okay. So whatever you see in this window right here, right, not including the tabs, the address bar, the toolbars, so anything that's in this space right here, that is the body. Okay? And anything in the body displays in the browser window. All right. The blank protocol is a set of rules that controls how data is sent between computers on the internet. So we have HTTP, IP, TCP, FTP, right? File transfer protocol, transmission control protocol, IP, internet protocol, or HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol. So IP is the answer. FTP is for files. HTTP is for browsers, right? That's what we're using for browsers. I mean, all of these are being used at one point or another on the internet, right? But the protocol that really is a set of rules that controls how data between one computer and the internet is really IP, right? Internet protocol. Bless you. All right. And HTML5 is the last version of HTML. Not the latest version, right? The last version. And that is false. So the question here was not a trick question. It was simply a question to have you think of all the progression that we've had up until now HTML5, right? We started with HTML or something before that, right? And then we went to different versions, and then we went to XML, and then XHTML, and so now we're continually, right, updating, and HTML always is evolving. And so HTML5 is definitely not the last version of HTML. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the list of all the questions. And I believe, Alec, you had a specific question you were asking. Give me the first 3-4 words in the question so I can find it. Okay, so that was one of the ones. Okay. All right. Really? Okay. Can one of you send me an email with that effect, and I will take a look at that? Okay? Absolutely. Any other specific questions you'd like me to go over? Yes, Michael. Yes. Play them as many times as you like. Absolutely. And there's different games too, so I think in the drop down there's a few different games. And based on the chapter, some chapters may not have all the available games, but some chapters have more games than others. So, yep, play them all, play them as many times as you'd like. Yeah. Hi, Mary. How are you? No worries. I'm glad you came. All right. Anybody want me to go over another question? All right. Great. Okay, so that was the quiz. That was the quiz.